Welcome to Summary Central. You're listening to Summary Central, where big ideas become calm, useful conversations you can slip into your day. This is your 30-minute summary of 168 Hours You Have More Time Than You Think by Laura Vanderkam, a book that quietly rewires how you think about time. It's not another productivity sermon or planner pep talk. It's a guide to using the time you already have to build a life that actually feels full. If you're walking, commuting, or multitasking right now, you're in the right place. Take a breath. This half hour is your pit stop. We're going to refuel your attention, reroute your habits, and help you see where your hours really go. Let's start with a simple truth that might make you smile or sigh. You, me, and Beyonce all get the same 168 hours each week. No secret 25th hour, no hidden day behind Sunday. The difference isn't time, it's how we choose to spend it. The time myth. We live in a culture that worships busy. Everyone's exhausted, overbooked, rushing somewhere. We wear it like a badge of honor. But Vanderkam calls it what it is, the time crunch myth. It's the story we tell to make ourselves feel productive, even when the math doesn't add up. Here's what the research says. Most people think they work 60 or even 70 hours a week. When they actually track their time, the number is usually closer to 40 or 45. People say they barely sleep, but the data shows adults average almost 8 hours a night. So what's happening? We feel tired, not because we don't have enough time, but because we're constantly shifting attention. 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there. It feels endless because it never feels whole. The solution starts with a mindset shift. Time isn't something you lose. It's something you use. Vanderkam puts it simply, we don't build the lives we want and then fit time in. We build the time, and life grows around it. Imagine your week as a blank canvas. There are 168 small squares. Every one of them gets filled with something. Sleep, work, meals, errands, social media, conversations, dreams. You can't add squares. You can only decide what goes in them. If that feels overwhelming, good. It means you're paying attention. Now try this. The next time you say, I don't have time, swap it with, it's not a priority. I don't have time to exercise becomes exercise isn't a priority. I don't have time to read becomes learning isn't a priority. If that feels wrong, congratulations. You've just found what really matters. Time is honest like that. You have more time than you think. When Vanderkam started researching this book, she asked dozens of busy people to log every hour of their week. What they discovered was shocking and freeing. One executive swore she worked 70 hours a week. Her diary revealed 43. A mother convinced she never slept found out she averaged 7 hours and 20 minutes a night. We remember extremes, the crazy late nights, the endless meetings, the chaotic mornings, but we forget the calm stretches in between. The story in our head becomes busier than the life we're actually living. The truth is, most of us have more time than we think. We just fill it without noticing. Vanderkam designed a 5-step system to see your time clearly. Step 1, track it. For 7 days, write down what you do, everything, even 5-minute fragments. It's tedious for a day, eye-opening by day 3, and life-changing by day 7. Step 2, categorize it. Work, sleep, family, fun, personal, wasted. Be brutally honest. Step 3, calculate. Add up the totals. You'll be surprised how flexible your schedule actually is. Step 4, evaluate. Which hours line up with your priorities? Which ones drift away from them? Step 5, redeploy. Take one low-value hour each day and give it to something that truly matters. That's 7 reclaimed hours a week, nearly a full workday returned to your life. Vanderkam likes to say, being busy is a choice. Being intentional is powerful. She compares time tracking to counting calories. Uncomfortable at first, empowering later. The goal isn't to live like a robot, it's to understand where your energy really goes. Here's an example. Teresa Daitner runs a multi-million-dollar construction firm and has 6 kids. When Vanderkam interviewed her, she didn't talk about balance. She talked about alignment. Her work excited her. Her family grounded her. She delegated the rest. She protected family dinners, scheduled solitude-like meetings, and trusted her team to handle the small stuff. She wasn't superhuman, just strategic. Her secret wasn't working longer. It was knowing what not to do. And then there's Sarah Wagner, a mother buried under laundry. She tracked her time and discovered washing, drying, folding, and sorting ate up 5 hours every week. So she tried something radical. She outsourced it. For the price of one dinner out, she bought her time back. The laundry got done, her evenings came back, and for the first time in years, she didn't feel behind. As Vanderkam writes, when we say we're too busy, what we often mean is we're unwilling to make trade-offs visible. Sarah's story shows that time freedom doesn't come from doing everything. It comes from choosing better. Reflection. Think about your own week. Where does your time quietly disappear? What would happen if you really tracked it, just for one week? You might find you're not time poor. You're time unconscious. And consciousness, once it starts, can't be unseen. If that idea alone made you sit up a little straighter, follow Summary Central. We make these wake-up calls a habit. Your core competencies. Here's one of Vanderkam's biggest ideas. Stop obsessing over weaknesses. Instead, identify and expand your core competencies, the things you do best that give you energy instead of draining it. In business, a core competency is what a company does better than anyone else. For you, it's the intersection between skill and satisfaction, the things you love enough to improve endlessly. Maybe it's teaching, designing, problem solving, caring, leading, or creating. You don't have to be world class, you just have to be alive while doing it. Vanderkam studied dozens of high-achieving people and found that their lives were built around their best strengths, not their worst flaws. They didn't aim for balance. They aimed for intensity with purpose. She writes, when we spend more hours doing what we're good at and what we love, the time expands. We stop counting it. Think about that. The hours you love vanish faster, but they also multiply in value. Here's a story. Teresa Daitner, who we met earlier, discovered that mentoring young women in construction lit her up far more than administrative work. So she trained someone else to handle the spreadsheets and spent those hours teaching apprentices. The business grew, morale improved, and she felt energized again. That's the power of alignment. If you're feeling stretched thin, you don't need more hours. You need to spend more of them on your best self. Try this simple exercise. List 3 things that make you feel most like you. Then look at your last week and count how many hours you actually gave them. Even small shifts, 1 extra hour toward what matters, 1 less toward what doesn't, compound fast. Vanderkam calls it strategic energy management. You're not just budgeting time, you're budgeting vitality. The right job. You spend most of your 168 hours at work. So the quality of your work life determines the texture of your whole life. Vanderkam says a fulfilling career isn't about luck. It's about conscious design. She found that people who thrive professionally do 3 things differently. First, they seek roles that fit their core competencies. They don't chase titles, they chase alignment. Second, they take ownership of their time at work. even when they're not the boss. Third, they set boundaries between effort and exhaustion. Meet Michelle Singletary, a financial columnist and mother of three. Early in her career, she felt guilty leaving the office on time. Then she realized productivity isn't about hours logged, it's about output. So she started working with laser focus during the day, no gossip, no distractions, and left at 5:30 without guilt. Her editors didn't complain. Her columns got better. As Vanderkam puts it, work expands to fill the time you give it, so give it less. She recommends running a value audit on your job. Over a week, list your main work tasks and ask, which of these create the most impact per hour? Which could vanish without consequence? Most of us find that a few tasks drive almost all our results. The rest are noise. And here's the twist. You can apply this thinking even if you don't control your schedule. A teacher can batch grading instead of scattering it. A nurse can create micro rituals to reset between patients. A manager can move meetings to one day and reclaim mental space the rest of the week. The point isn't less work. It's better work. Controlling your calendar. Here's where theory becomes practice. If your schedule runs you, this is where you take it back. Vanderkam believes your calendar is your autobiography. It tells the truth about what you value, even when your mouth lies. So how do you take control of it? She offers several key tactics. First, start with a blank week. Instead of shoving tasks into chaos, imagine your week from scratch. Block the essentials first. Sleep, work, family, health. Then, and only then, add everything else. Second, schedule priorities. Don't prioritize your schedule. If exercise, reading, or creativity matter, they need an actual slot, not just when I have time. Spoiler, you'll never have time, you make it. Third, use mornings. Vanderkam's research showed that successful people often front-load meaningful work early in the day, when willpower is fresh. Even 20 quiet minutes before the world wakes up can shift your entire week. Fourth, batch and block. Answer emails in 2 chunks, not 50 scattered microchecks. Group errands, meetings, and creative sessions. Switching tasks is a tax on attention. Stop paying it so often. And fifth, plan your week on Friday. Friday afternoon planning, she says, is the secret weapon of calm professionals. You're close enough to the weekend to be honest about what didn't get done, and close enough to Monday to set it up right. She calls it intentional momentum. Here's a quick thought experiment. What if you treated your calendar like a budget, and every hour had to earn its keep? You'd stop donating time to things that drain you. You'd invest more in things that build you. That's how intentional schedules feel. Less crowded, more alive. And if you're nodding right now, follow Summary Central. These micro breakthroughs are the good kind of habit forming. Don't do your own laundry. This is one of Vanderkam's most famous lines, and it always makes people laugh, partly because it sounds ridiculous, and partly because it's true. She doesn't literally mean everyone should outsource their laundry, though she doesn't rule it out. What she means is this. Stop using your limited hours on tasks that don't create value or joy. Our culture still romanticizes doing it all. But Vanderkam argues that doing everything yourself is not noble. It's wasteful. You have a finite number of hours, and every one you spend folding towels is an hour you can't spend reading to your kids, resting, building a side project, or deepening a relationship. So the real question isn't, can I do this myself? It's, should I? If someone else can do a task 80% as well as you, and you can afford to let them, delegate it. If it can be automated, automate it. If it doesn't have to be done at all, delete it. Remember Sarah Wagner from earlier, the mom who outsourced her laundry? She didn't suddenly become lazy. She became strategic. Her evenings shifted from folding to storytelling, and her kids noticed. When we talk about time management, people always imagine squeezing more in. But Vanderkam says the secret is the opposite, squeezing less. Cut what doesn't count so what matters can breathe. Try this test tonight. Write down 3 repetitive tasks that eat your time. Then circle one and decide how you could spend less time on it, even if it's just a 20% reduction. That small cut might buy back the hour you've been craving. And if you just thought, but nobody else will do it right, congratulations. That's the perfectionism trap Vanderkam wants you to notice. The new home economics. Traditional economics said the most efficient households were those where one partner worked and the other ran the home. Vanderkam argues that in the modern world, that's outdated math. The new home economics is about partnership and systems. 2 working adults can still have a balanced, loving home if they treat domestic life like a collaborative project instead of a one-person show. It's about shared responsibility, smart outsourcing, and letting go of guilt. Ordering groceries online isn't lazy, it's efficient. Using a cleaning service isn't indulgent, it's a trade of money for sanity. The text is already entirely in English. In one interview, Vanderkam told the story of a couple who fought constantly about chores. Their evenings were a blur of exhaustion. When they finally hired a cleaner twice a month, the tension evaporated. The cost? Less than 1 dinner date. The return? A peaceful marriage. She points out that modern technology gives us tools our grandparents couldn't dream of. Online bill pay, meal kits, streaming workouts. If you use them wisely, they free hours every week. But that freedom only matters if you use it deliberately. If you save 90 minutes on chores and spend it doom scrolling, that's not liberation. It's just a different cage. So here's the rule. Every time you save time, assign that time. Decide what it's for. Rest, creativity, family, friendship. Otherwise, the hours dissolve into noise. A full life. So, what does it mean to fill 168 hours well? Vanderkam says a full life isn't about doing more. It's about doing more of what matters. It's not about speed. It's about texture. After years of studying high performers, she noticed that the happiest people design their weeks around 3 dimensions: meaningful work, nurturing relationships, and intentional rest. Let's start with work. Meaningful work doesn't always mean passion. It can be any work that feels useful, that moves something forward. If you find purpose in service, teaching, craftsmanship, leadership, even in well-done admin work, that's meaning. The text is already entirely in English, so no changes are needed. Then, relationships. These are the non-negotiables. Time spent with people you love multiplies satisfaction. A phone call, a family dinner, an unhurried walk. These are hours that matter long after they're gone. Finally, rest. Vanderkam emphasizes that rest isn't optional. It's fuel. The most productive people aren't those who never stop working. They're the ones who know when to stop. One study she cites found that people who take vacations aren't less committed. They're more creative and loyal afterward. Time off protects the spark. So, if you're designing your week, aim for what she calls the mosaic life. Each piece, work, love, rest, fits next to the others. Not in competition, but in harmony. The hard work of having it all. This is the part of the book that surprises people. Vanderkam doesn't believe having it all is a myth. She believes it's real, but misunderstood. The trick, she says, is defining all for yourself. You can have a great career and a rich personal life if you stop chasing the wrong version of success. You can work full time and still be a present parent if you measure presence by attention, not hours. She tells the story of a woman named Teresa Daytner again, who used to feel guilty leaving work for her kids and guilty leaving her kids for work. Then she reframed it. She wasn't choosing one over the other. She was choosing both, just not at the same time. Having it all is about sequence, not simultaneity. You can't do everything at once, but across a week, you can live a full life. Vanderkam found that people who feel satisfied tend to think in weeks, not days. A single day can feel chaotic, but across 7 days, there's room for it all. Work, rest, family, health, growth, and joy. So when you feel like you're failing, zoom out. Ask, how does my week feel? Instead of, how does my Tuesday feel? That shift changes everything. Closing reflection. Let's bring it home. You have 168 hours this week. No more, no less. The question isn't how busy you are, it's how deliberate you'll be. Here's a simple practice Vanderkam recommends. On Sunday night or Monday morning, take 15 quiet minutes. Map your 168 hours. Start with essentials: sleep, work, family. Then slot in your big three, those things that define your best self. Finally, fill the edges with what nourishes you: learning, laughter, stillness. Every week becomes a new experiment in living better. So, as this summary ends, take a moment. Picture your week as a blank grid of 168 hours. Imagine placing each hour like a tile in a mosaic. What would you choose to build? And remember, you're not too busy. You're just choosing unconsciously. Time is not the enemy. It's the raw material of a meaningful life. If this helped you see your hours differently, follow Summary Central for more weekly resets, calm, practical lessons you can apply right away. You already have the time. Use it wisely.